All right, I'm in a position on the internet that I never thought I would be in, but I'm in a position where when some sort of controversy happens in swimming, people start DMing me relentlessly, asking me to put out a statement, to put out my opinion on what just took place in the sport. And pretty much every single time I give in. But recently, swimming has had a good amount of, and maybe controversy is a little bit of an inflated word, but swimming has had some situations arrive. We'll call them situations. And as swimming grows from a viewership and a fan engagement perspective, these opinions get louder. We had DQs at US Nationals. We had the Michael Andrews situation where he was not selected for the World Championship team due to some selection criteria stuff, which is actually a situation that has kind of occurred in the past. Sort of. It's a little bit of a different situation with Coleman Stewart, the world record holder, in the 100 short course meter backstroke, being left off the short course meter World Championship team for the United States of America because the selection was like a long course meter meet. It's another guy that rocks a mustache like Thomas Chacon. Backstrokers rock a mustache, maybe you'll swim fast. This time we've got a doozy. We've got some potentially inconsistent, and I say potentially because it's incredibly hard to tell, per usual, because fans are left completely in the dark on stuff like this, but we have some potentially inconsistent application of rules in swimming. That is a difficult sentence to say. I think that one's more difficult, but we made it through it. And we're not talking about Summer League here. We're talking about the World Championship, a place where there's some, not a ton of money. Not a ton of money, you know, not like tennis money, not golf money, but there's some money on the line. So we're not talking about Summer League where the only money on the line is when bets are placed between dads that just finished off their third margarita trying to figure out whether or not this kid or that kid is going to get DQ'd for potentially a downward kick at the end of a breaststroke kick, which, in my opinion, DQ that kid, because when he gets to US Nationals, it gets sniped by an underwater VAR, then he's going to thank you. He'll thank you for DQing him for that little dolphin kick in the Summer League 6 and under 25 breaststroke. But let's do this. Emma McEwen, which is a name that I have butchered in the past, and I apologize for doing so. It is Emma McEwen. It's like the letter Q. I was actually writing it phonetically. Is that the right word for, that's like how you pronounce things out on my whiteboard? I do that with names now, like Leon Marchand, not Leon Marchand. But she was DQ'd along with two other swimmers in the semifinal. One of the semifinals in the 200 IM. If you're not familiar with swimming, the way that you win a gold medal is first you qualify for the meet, which means you have to go through a really difficult selection process and potentially not even make the meet if your selection criteria is one that does not favor the events that you swim in. That is another story for another time that I've already told and will not tell again. Once you're at the meet, then you swim prelims. From prelims, you try to qualify for semifinals. Semifinals are two different heats of 8 swimmers that try to qualify for 8 spots in the final. Once you are in the final, then you can compete for one of 3 medals: bronze, silver, and gold. It's a lot of opportunities to do a little oopsie and have all of your dreams crushed and then have to restart and try again in potentially a year, and for some people 4 years if you're only an Olympic person. You only like the Olympics and you hate swimming fast every year. But 2 of those 3 DQs and that Kaylee McEwen nailed it. Kaylee McEwen 200 IM semifinal were for going past vertical on the back to breast turn. In the IM, if you're not a swimmer, and I'm glad you're here, if you're not a swimmer and you've made it this far, kudos to you. You go butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. You swim a quarter of whatever distance you're doing of those 4 strokes in that exact order. And now on the screen next to me, we're going to get technical and confusing. So there should be a tweet from Buttstroke on Twitter, a funny name from an account that has some seriously serious content at times. And I'll let you kind of read through that as I tell the rest of this story. Kaylee McEwen was one of the favorites to medal in the 200 IM, potentially a favorite to win the gold medal in the 200 IM. And with a gold medal comes money from FINA, or World Aquatics now. It used to be FINA, now World Aquatics. They're changing their name. I don't know if they're ever going to change it again, but now we got World Athletic or whatever. World Aquatics, you get money from them. You get money from your federation potentially, and you get money potentially from sponsors. Once again, dollar bills on the line, y'all. So she's in the hunt for the title. She comes into the wall at the 100. Her shoulders go past vertical on her crossover turn, which is this wild turn that we do these days in the IM to transition from backstroke to breaststroke. It just makes my shoulder quiver thinking about trying to do it. And I do try to do it sometimes when I am training. But in this race, she absolutely goes beyond vertical and should have been DQ'd based on the angles that we have. Now I'm going to pause here. Officials have an incredibly difficult job to do in swimming. It's a thankless role, and no one is running up to you after you do a legit DQ. Like you DQ someone that deserved it, and they're like, nice work, dude. That was money. You nailed that. You ruined that person's goals. We're really proud of you. No one's giving you a performance bonus. You're not breaking any world records for most DQs in an event, DQs in a session, even though sometimes it feels like potentially there is a Guinness Book of World Records person on deck trying to DQ people. Maybe at US Nationals, there was a Guinness World Records attempt for most DQs in a single day. Maybe that happened. And if you want to believe that there are some under the table incentives going on, then that's up to you. That's up to you to believe that. But before you start believing that conspiracy theory, don't forget to put on your tinfoil hat. It's a thankless role. And at US Nationals, they caught a lot of heat for honestly calling a lot of very legitimate DQs. And I'll be the first to tell you, when I watched Kaylee's turn, I thought immediately, oh, that's a DQ. When I watched Alex Walsh turn at the 100 in the final, I thought that's a DQ. And if you think I'm just tooting my own horn saying I'm the best at-home ref in the game, you're damn right I am. But I also called the Great Britain relay jump in the 400 freestyle relay prelims at full speed. I texted my buddy when it happened, didn't even touch, didn't rewind, didn't do anything on my computer. Texted my buddy and said, yo, I think GB just jumped. I think they're going to get DQ. Paused, listened to the intercom, heard the announcement, and then tweeted about it, or X'd about it, whatever Elon is calling that place these days. But I saw both Kaylee and Alex's turns live, and I thought both of them should have been DQs. And maybe they both should have been. Based on the information I have been visually provided by the superior beings of the aquatic realm, which is basically nothing, they both look DQ, but as did about 7 other people from the heats, semis, and finals that I was watching. I watch every single race. Yeah, this isn't just an Alex Walsh and a Kaylee McEwen thing. Nailed the last name again. I am on fire with last names recently.
Leon Marchand.
It's an inconsistency thing, and I think people have just gotten away with it for a really long time. And here we're going to get into the 2 points I want to make, because I can sit here all day long and look at blurry screenshots and tell you, oh yeah, look at that pixel right there, bud. That pixel is past vertical, which leads me to point number 1. I really feel like at this point in the development of the sport, the lack of information, replay, and involvement of the fans and the crowd in situations like this is intentional. It feels intentional as a fan. Every other sport, the following play is under review. Umpires are on camera reviewing the play while the commentators talk about what happened and look at the replays with the fans at home watching. Every other sport does this except for us. Every other sport is looking at him and they're like, whoa, look at this. They call in Mike Pereira from New York or wherever he's at, and he's like, listen, guys, I don't really know what a catch is in football anymore, but at least when you're talking about what a catch is in football, you get to watch. You get to see the ball moving and make your own opinion at home. And then when it goes your way or the other way, you can go, oh man, crack another beer, whatever. This is the World Championships. People are waking up at 5:15 a.m. just to work all the way until 11:45 p.m. trying to grow this sport. But every sport gets video review except for us. And that leads me to my last point. And I hope that if you've made it this far into this video, you've gotten some sort of value from the perspective that I am giving you, because people are analyzing photos, blurry photos all over the place saying, look, based on this angle, it's a DQ, but I think that's the problem. I think the reason we're having to do that is the problem. If this rule, which I think is one of the most difficult rules to understand and call accurately in this sport, is causing this much of a fuss and this much confusion, maybe we should revise it. Because if it's confusing officials and confusing coaches and confusing people in the media and people that have YouTube channels, then it's definitely confusing people that are just trying to understand the sport as a fan. My goal with this channel is to educate current fans, re-engage former fans, and create new fans of this beautiful sport that we all love. But I can't do that if they're just going to pay money to watch an event and then be left in the dark right when something incredibly interesting happens. That's all I got for y'all on this one. Sorry if I seemed a little low energy in it. I actually just got up from taking a nap, which, as I say that, is a really funny thing to think about, because for some reason it feels like I need to make an excuse for taking a nap just because I'm 29 years old. But when you take a nap at 2 years old, it's cute. When you take a nap at 83 years old, it's necessary. When you take a nap at 102, it seems somewhat dangerous. But when you're 29, you're lazy.
Shut up, you lazy name calling me lazy people. I'm working 16 hours a day over here at Kyle Sockwell HQ,
trying to bring you guys some quality content. Thanks for watching, y'all. Hit that subscribe button if you want more videos like this to pop up on your home screen. Slap a like on the video if you got some value out of this one. Venmo me a few dollars so I can start saving money to build a studio. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.